The following audio may contain the personal testimonials of Take Shape for Life health coaches or clients. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to healthy living and weight loss will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a physician before starting a weight loss program. Yours in health, the Take Shape for Life team.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's Take Shape for Life Habits of Health support call. I am thrilled to introduce our host and want to give you a little background just before we get started. If this is your first time joining the Habits of Health webinar, a special welcome to you. This webinar is for all of our clients, coaches, and health professionals. So you may see some questions in the chat or some comments from any and all of the above. If you don't fit into one of those categories, but you're simply interested in learning more about our program and how to create better health, you are warmly welcomed. We are thrilled you're here. You may also hear content geared to those who are in the weight loss phase of their health journey. Maybe they're in transition, and some, of course, are in the optimization phase, moving towards a lifetime of optimal health. Take Shape for Life offers excellent tools and support for weight loss, but we also have a lot to offer to anyone who's looking for better health in any area of their life. So if you're in the weight loss phase, perhaps on our 5-in-1 structured fueling plan, please be sure to follow the guidelines that have been set up by you, by your free health coach. So for those of you that are also listening to the recording later, we're glad you've taken the time to join us. We invite you to join us live next time and be a part of the discussion. These Habits of Health support webinars are held every Wednesday evening at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific. So without further ado, I am thrilled to introduce to you Certified Health Coach Susan Pallas.
Thanks so much, Angie, and thank all of you who are joining us on our call tonight. I am so excited about this call to be able to host this tonight because this call has been an important resource in my journey over the last 8.5 years getting healthy, and that of my clients. So I raised my hand really high to speak about this topic because about falling in love with our program, because I love my program. And I think our fuelings are manna from heaven. And I have been introduced to a way of thinking that has freed me to create something new in my life. And I have been surrounded by a community of support that is fun and uplifting and really looks at health in such a positive way. So before I found this program, I was a chronic dieter. I was always, from the time I was 14, that first diet that really changes your brain. It makes you crave things that you never wanted before. It sets up deprivation and just a preoccupation. And I was, I learned to be a health enthusiast. I exercised every day. I ate, all organic, very health conscious, and yet I was still chubby. And I was tired all the time. I was always hungry, never satisfied, and I couldn't control my sugar cravings. And I'll tell you what, I don't care how gluten-free those cookies are, they did me no favors. So when I found this program, I was really introduced to a way of eating that balanced my blood sugar, and I wasn't hungry. I was able to lose the weight finally and get in shape at the age of 50. So I don't make New Year's resolutions anymore. That was always so painful to be so disappointed in myself without keeping them. So I don't even make them anymore. And I'm able now, I think the biggest benefit for me has been that all my struggles and challenges have been for a really big purpose. I am now able to help people with their struggles. I'm able to have an understanding and compassion for what people are going through. And I know that I can inspire some trust. I know I can take them through this journey. So my pain became my purpose. And I am just delighted and honored to share it with you tonight. So we don't go on this journey alone. I'm not doing this alone. I have certified health coaches, Nicole DeWard with me and Dee Corchin. I can't wait for you to meet them in a few minutes. But right now, I'd like to introduce you to Jonathan and Lisa Pennypacker, who are going to share with you a pretty inspiring story. Okay. I really am. There you go.
Oh, thank you, Susan, for asking us to share tonight. And the picture that you can see on the screen is where our journey started when we found Take Shape for Life. And as you can see, we were both pretty unhealthy.
We were tired all the time.
Simple things that people take for granted, like tying your shoes or walking up a flight of stairs, was difficult for us.
We both felt a little hopeless.
Together with the help of our coach and the Take Shape for Life community, we were able to lose about 195 pounds together.
What we love about Take Shape for Life is that it's different from anything that we've ever tried.
It doesn't focus on gimmicks or quick fixes, but instead it helped us with the mindsets and the habits that we needed. And we gained an understanding of how we got to where we were and the habits that we had that weren't supporting our health.
Working with our coach helped to awaken and strengthen our desire to change.
We learned to change our relationship with food from one that was based around comfort and reward to a mindset and fueling our bodies properly.
We were taught how and when to exercise.
When we focused more than the number on the scale, rather we celebrated all of those non-scale victories and the growth that we were having along the way. And once we reached our goals, we were in a place where we were glad that there was a way for us to maintain that weight loss. There was a system to help us stay where we had gotten. As we progressed along our journey, people began noticing and reaching out to help. And that was when we realized that this was a gift and it needed to be given away. So we became health coaches to help walk alongside of others on their journey, just like our coach supported us.
This has been more rewarding than we could have ever imagined.
We've been so blessed to have found this program and Take Shape for Life, and by all of the relationships we've made along the way, our lives have been improved in so many ways. But I think the thing that we love about this the most is that the journey doesn't have to end. By engaging in this system and the Habits of Health community, we continue to learn, to grow, and to celebrate every day.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Jonathan and Lisa. Amazing and so inspiring. And it's fun to walk this journey with you and watch you continue to grow. So what do you love about the program? Those of you who are on any part of this journey, would you write in the chat for us, what are the things that you love about this program? So with all of our desire to create health, 60 to 70% of the people in the United States are overweight or obese. So what is the problem? Why is it so hard when all this reward is out there for us? Well, one thing that we've learned is that diets don't work. They set up this deprivation, short-term mentality, and people can't wait to stop them. And it's interesting because biologically, we are programmed to resist being starved and resist being captured or controlled. And diets set up both of those. The anxiety of really looking at being starved or being controlled on a plan just really makes us just want to get away. And our biology is set up, we learned Dr. A's Habits of Health, that the biology is set up to store fat and conserve energy. So if we do nothing, over time, our bodies, for survival's sake, will hold on to fat. So, but we're interested more in the survival. We want to thrive. Another reason that I find that it's so hard and is the confusion. You know, there's so many conflicting information. Every commercial, every friend that you know, every family member has an opinion. And what I love, two things, is one, that our program is based on science. So we can trust that we can get some predictable results. And that really is very powerful to me. And the other thing is becoming more intrinsically motivated. And what I mean by that is listening to myself. I know what's right for me. Even if someone else doesn't agree with me, I don't need them to agree with me. I don't need them to change and be like me. But I'm able to make decisions that were right for me. And that's a very powerful transformation. Culture and family, we forget that we live with family and culture. And so many times we all have ethnic backgrounds and foods that are associated with that. And when we think about changing our way of eating, it threatens that. And we get scared that we won't be able to have our favorites. And, everyone, if you're from the South, if you're from the Northwest, if you're from, the Northeast, the Midwest, we all have these traditions. I mean, poor people from New Orleans. I mean, it's really hard, And, but the one thing we learn is that we can eat, it's not that we deprive ourselves of everything. It's what we do every day that makes a difference. And oftentimes we become the role models for other people, and we're able to transform some of these traditions and our family culture and create our own. So the other thing that's real confusing is the body signals. When we're tired, we drink caffeine. When we have a headache, we take an aspirin. When we're hungry, we go a couple hours more without eating. When we're full, we keep eating. And so our body is confused. And when the body is confused, to my next point, it gets under stress and it retains weight. Speaking of stress, it's only been the last 100 years that stress hasn't been associated with famine. I mean, think about it. When our bodies were, years ago, when we were stressed, we weren't getting food. So our bodies learn under stress to hold on to our weight for survival. And so I love that our program really addresses stress and how to manage it. And there are the simplest things that we can do to make a huge impact in our health. So what's the truth? Most people, given the choice, would choose health. And isn't that the case? But not everybody is ready to do what it takes to become healthy. And that's why working in our community with a health coach can maybe awaken some of the things that we have and our desires that we weren't really aware of. Another thing that's really the truth is that most people are focused on the scale or the mirror. And I know that no matter what you do, turn sideways or whatever, the scale will not move. And so what we love to do is focus on the process, focus on the journey, focus on doing those little things that we can do every day that build momentum. And we have our program can take us through those, and guess what? The scale will move automatically when we do the things that move us forward. Another thing to really be mindful of is that most people, we always beat up on ourselves and think we're weak-willed, and we're not. And most people want to feel good. So that we overeat or that we reach for food, it doesn't mean we're bad. It just means that we want to feel good. And we think in that moment that will make us feel good. But we're looking for love in all the wrong places, because as we learn that that momentary pleasure versus that satisfaction, our brain produces chemicals when we move towards our goals. So that satisfaction of really moving forward makes us feel really good. I mean, have you ever eaten a good meal, a healthy meal, gotten an extra hour of sleep, gone outside and gotten fresh air and said, I wish I hadn't done that? No, we all really want to be healthy, but our program, what I love about it is it teaches us to be more aware of what we really want, what matters most to us. So I'd like to introduce you to one of my partners in health, Molly Purdy.
Well, hey there, Susan. I've never shared my story on a Zoom call, so this is kind of fun. Thank you for inviting me to share. I have to say, when I was organizing my thoughts about telling this story, I realized that my story, although special to me, is really not all that unusual. I think there are a lot of people that may be able to really relate to what I'm going to share. So about 8 years ago, I found myself in a very unhealthy, overweight place again. And I say again because I've really struggled with my weight most of my life, and I've tried a lot of other structured programs. And I can tell you that the yo-yo cycle that always seemed to result from those efforts, yes, it put my health in jeopardy, but what I realized is it really put my mindset in an unhealthy place. It created a lot of doubt for me. It created a lot of uncertainty. I didn't really, I guess I would call it a bit of unworthiness around, if I could even be healthy. Could I really maintain my weight? Is that something that was even in the cards for me? I really had a lot of doubt around that. And that doubt actually ended up resulting in reluctance. And when I say reluctance, I mean reluctance to participate in certain things in life. If anything required me to get out of my comfy wardrobe, I was a little bit anxious to do it. Black tie dinners would require a cocktail dress. Well, yeah, no thank you. Going to the pool, no thank you. Traveling was just a huge anxiety because that meant I had to come up with a lot of things to put in the suitcase that I felt comfortable with. But it was all anxiety because I was never at peace with how I looked. When I went on plan, I lost 54 pounds. And the things that I noticed when I was on plan and that my clients always notice is you're not hungry unless it's time to eat. It's crazy. I remember my health coach telling me that would happen, and I didn't believe her because I'd never not been hungry. I had an incredible control over my interest in sugar and carbs, and I had an unbelievable amount of energy. And those three things combined really kind of allowed me to open up my mind to the possibilities, and it allowed me to kind of re-engage again in life. I kind of got my groove back, started playing tennis, hiking, traveling, and really embracing a lot of different opportunities because I wasn't feeling held back anymore. It became clear to me that what had been missing in my other attempts to get healthy was a supportive health coach, the right program, an understanding of how the body works, and an incredibly vivacious, happy, and supportive community of health. Take Shape for Life definitely offers a support like I've not seen anywhere else. And it's very encouraging. So I love that I can continue to evolve in a safe place with the Take Shape for Life community. And my little tagline that I share with people who ask me about Take Shape for Life is, what we have on our hands is a long-term fix to a short-term problem instead of a short-term fix to a long-term problem. So I hope that story was helpful, and I appreciate you letting me share it. Thanks, Susan.
Thank you, Molly. That was awesome and so inspiring. And thank you for being on this journey. The people that are on this journey are so courageous and so powerful. And I'm just blessed to be with you all. So what is the tension, Ms. Dee Corchin? I would like to introduce you to Certified Dee Corchin. And she is one of my partners as well. So Dee, take it away.
Well, my pleasure. Thank you, Susan, for inviting me and to speak on this. And like you, I am in love with this program and have been for the past 6 years since I was exposed to it. And I just wanted to share a little bit about what does make this different. You explained, about the problem and the solution. So why do we still have tension around it? Why can it still be challenging for us? And what do we offer? How can we make that different? And the number one thing is that we're not fixing a problem. You mentioned intrinsic motivation before. And when I think back to the past of, and a lot of my clients, when we enter this journey, very often we're thinking about fixing a problem. We need to fix that number on the scale, right? And we tend to focus on what number do we want to be on that scale. And so we're problem solving. We know that we don't like this excess weight and we want to fix that problem, and that will be reflected. And so it's not very exciting. It's not really fun to think of it that way. And it's hard to be consistent with that sort of mindset. So what about what if we shift that mindset, and instead of thinking about the number on the scale, think about what will that do for us? What kind of freedom will that provide for us that what we don't have now? What is it we're looking for? Maybe we want the number on the scale, but it goes beyond that. So maybe we want more energy. Maybe we want to be able to do activities that we couldn't comfortably do before, like Molly was sharing before. Maybe we want longevity. You know, there's just, so the list goes on and on and on. But we're going to be a lot more excited if we're focusing on where we're going. And we know that people are most fulfilled when they're pursuing what's important to them. So that's where our energy is going to go, and what we're going to help create for you. And we're going to walk away from that yo-yo cycle. We're going to incorporate health as a priority in our lives, and really move away and shift from, well, I'll work on that when my life is not so busy. I'll work on that when things aren't so stressful. I'll work on that when I get back from vacation. It's almost like it's a project that we try to fit in. And really, if we can shift that orientation, it's going to make a big difference in our long-term outcome. And then the other is, we're faced with conflicting choices. And this applies to many different things in our life, not just with our health and our wellness, but if you think about it, let's say we set this goal that we really do want to create health in our lives. And each one of us on this call, we have different reasons for that. So we've got this goal that we've set out there, but every single day and every hour of the day, we're faced with choices. And those choices, they might seem innocent at the time. Maybe it's somebody's offering you a piece of pizza. One piece of pizza, that worlds are not going to collide if we eat one piece of pizza. But we have a choice today. And then tomorrow somebody invites you to Starbucks for, one of those fancy drinks. And then the next day it's cocktails with friends. And it's those consistent choices that continue to block us from where we're going. So we're just really going to bring awareness and education to that. And we're going to move on to the opportunity that is in front of us. So the opportunity that what our program offers is really a comprehensive approach to creating optimal health. We have a weight loss component, but it's just one component of what it takes to create optimal health. As I mentioned before, we're going to really shift that orientation to making this a priority in a fun, exciting way, something that you can wrap your hands around and really want to do. And we're going to recognize that the steps to creating health, and I'll elaborate on this in a minute, it really only begins with reaching a healthy weight. And then we have a structure, we have a framework that's going to work on it's going to give you the structure, it's going to help work on the behavioral, the lifestyle, the habits of health, a supportive community, the process to make this a reality. And let's look at what our well-being system looks like. And you're going to see that there are 4 components to it, with the first one identified there as a health coach. And that's all of us on this call, and the person probably that invited you to this call. You work with a personal health coach, one person who is invested in your success, that really wants to find out what's important to you and why it's important, and maybe remind you of that along the way when you might forget it or want to push it aside. And we do that in a very supportive and encouraging way. And very often you have a team of health coaches that are going to work with you. We have our habits of health system. This is our behavioral and lifestyle education and application that we put into place, and that really the framework that's going to create that health. And a community. You've got calls like this. We have lots and lots of people on this call. They're on the same journey. You've got your health coach and team of coaches. You might do local meetings. You might have a Facebook group. We just have layers and layers of support, because we know when we surround ourselves with like-minded people, it's going to increase our success. And then, of course, we have our healthy eating plan. We have our structured eating plan for the weight loss component, and we have our habits of health and our long-term healthy eating for your transition and your maintenance and your long-term success. So let me take a minute and just show you what the steps are in this. Is that you actually see when we're creating long-term health with Dr. A's Habits of Health system, it's a 6-step journey. Starting with step 1, as simple as preparing for the journey. And when I use the word simple, that it is not simple. The next step is reaching a healthy weight. And what I have found is that very often when you talk about reaching a healthy weight, we talk about the program or the process or the eating plan we're going to follow. And sometimes we jump right into that eating plan, and we really haven't clarified and really prepared for the journey to be ready for it. So your health coach will work with you for that, because readiness is really important. And you see step 2 is reaching the healthy weight. We're not finished. we find success in each step and we move on. And you can read what they are there, but transition, living the life, the habits of health, optimization, and then that full potential to live a longer, healthier life.
So thank you so much, Dee. That was awesome. As usual, you have presented in such a really clear way. And thank you. Appreciate that. I want to introduce you to Nicole DeWard next. Nicole is a personal trainer and certified health coach, and she's actually my personal trainer. So Nicole, please introduce us to you and Sandi.
Thank you, Susan. I am thoroughly excited to share tonight, and I get excited every time I see this picture of my mom and I, and because she is my why. We talk a lot as coaches about our why, and why we do what we do, and why we live the way that we live. And I grew up with this amazing woman as my mother who consistently struggled, tried lots of things, and always was putting other people before herself. And I found that as I got married young and had 4 children, I found myself in a place of wanting to have optimal health for myself. And so I started exercising, became a personal trainer. And of course, my mother was super excited. So that meant I could help her, right? And I sent her program after program, only to my dismay that she couldn't lose any weight. And I knew that in somewhere it had to do with her diet, but I didn't know really how to help until I was introduced to Take Shape for Life by a registered dietitian. And I was skeptical, as most trainers are, skeptical about our fueling, skeptical about having a structured process and telling people what to do. And I, of course, as any good daughter would do, I asked my mommy for help. And so my mom said, oh, sure, I'll try it, just like I've tried anything else. And much to both of our surprise, she not only loved the program and the ease that started her on her journey, just as Dee talked about, that step 1 in her journey was reaching a healthy weight, which she did. And this picture was many years ago. She started the program almost 7 years ago. And without the entire program, as Dee talked about, having the support of a health coach, and I have to say, as her daughter, I coached her along with many other people because sometimes it's tough to coach your family. And she was able to receive so much support from Molly, who is my coach, and Susan, who is her coach. And we are a community of support together. She's not only reached a healthy weight, but she's now dancing many nights a week. She's doing yoga. She's become a full-time health coach, retired from her teaching job. It's so exciting to see my mom live a life of vibrance, not because of the 5 in 1, but because of how she's been able to adopt the Optavia way. And we're so excited to become fully Optavia. I'm sure you've heard us talking about becoming Optavia, fully Optavia in July. But what that means is it's the optimal way. It's living a lifestyle of optimal health. So as we begin this step 1 of reaching a healthy weight, it only begins the transformation. Transformation is just a decision. And it's the journey that actually takes time. So many of us sit and wait for this transformative process, and sometimes can feel discouraged that it's going to take so much time. But transformation just happens in an instant when a decision is made that this is really what you want. It's an awakening that happens within us. And Susan talked about intrinsic motivation, this desire within. I like to say there's a difference between willpower and why power. You can wear your cape all you want and try to really dig deep and go for this willpower, but it really has nothing to do with that. It has to do with your why. Why do you want to live a life of optimal health? Why do you want this transformation? And when we hold that out in front of us always, and as you continue to make transformation happen in your life, you'll continue to set goals out further. As we look at priority to priority of what's in front of us at the moment, then we can see this lifelong optimal health. It shifts our thinking about what we see in front of us and what we see long term for not only our health, but for the people around us, our family and friends. And this process is so much about how we choose to live our life. And one of my favorite stories, I had a client many years ago who was losing a consistent weight loss. And I tell you, before I became a health coach, she was my only client who actually lost weight as a personal trainer. So I asked her one day, I said, please tell me what you're doing. How are you consistently losing weight? Nobody else can do this. And she did not tell me she was keeping a journal. She didn't tell me what specific plan she was using or what she was eating or how much she was exercising or sleeping. She said, you know what, Nicole, I wake up every day and decide to do it again. And I thought, oh my goodness, that's it. It's the decision. It's the decision that we make, and that we embrace that this process is not only daily, but in the Optavia logo, it symbolizes the 24 hours in a day, that hour by hour, that step by step, we can make a decision to optimal health. And along the way, we have to really fully be integrated, just as Molly shared, just as the Penny Packer shared, and just like my mom had to fully integrate themselves into this process. It can't just be about one component, because much like a stool will fall without the legs, we have to make sure that we're integrating ourselves into the community of support, that we're making sure we have healthy feelings to get us through the day, to keep our blood sugar balanced and stabilized every 2 to 3 hours, that we're connecting with our health coach, making sure that we're not trying to go this alone. Because in and of ourselves, aren't we our own worst enemy? So I know that even for me as a personal trainer, you guys, I have somebody that I work out with because I won't do it by myself. We need the power of two and to walk alongside together through this life. And that's what leads to loving this program. It's a choice. It's a way of life. And I am more than thrilled, if you can tell. I have so much passion and excitement about what this has done, not only for my family and my friends, but what it's done for my business, to have this amazing tool that I can utilize for my clients, and really to gather so many people into lifelong optimal health.
Well, thank you all for joining us. Thank you to my wonderful panel. Weren't they amazing? And from our hearts to yours, we hope you find love in your program. Start loving your program, start loving yourself, and please share with us all your success. Good night, everybody.
The preceding audio may have contained the personal testimonials of some Take Shape for Life health coaches or clients. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to healthy living and weight loss will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a physician before starting a weight loss program. Yours in health, the Take Shape for Life team.